How's it going, everybody? As you might have guessed already, we're staying with the topic of delaying things. But first of all, I still sometimes get asked what even are these delayed attacks and how do we do them? The difference between a buffered and a delayed attack is the timing of your input of your next attack. When talking about buffered attacks, you already hit the button while you're still mid-swing of your first attack. When you delay it, you wait until your initial hit connects with the opponent, and only then you input the next part of your combo. How big the window is in which you need to input the attack, that is what we're looking at today. I've asked for help from Hyperion and Baxtyr as we're looking at Valkyrie and Berserker. Those two have mained these characters for many months, so I can be sure that they know how to delay their attacks to the maximum. So we can see what it looks like when someone does properly delayed attacks against you. But first we're going to look at it from our own point of view. This is the buffered combo light on Berserker. The time between the heavy connecting and the light starting is exactly 200 milliseconds. Now we're going to delay the light by inputting the light after we hit the heavy. By trying to delay it as long as I can, I get a 300 millisecond window now. This is the number that is important to you when you try and perform these attacks yourself. You have exactly 300 milliseconds to input the attack. If you do it any later, you will not continue the chain and instead throw a neutral light. Most attacks fall either within a 300 millisecond or a 400 millisecond window. For Valkyrie's lights, the window is 400. Her sweep, on the other hand, is not. A buffered sweep is 200 milliseconds, whereas the window of a delayed sweep can be as long as 300 milliseconds. With that out of the way, let's look at what effects this has when done by your opponent. The first combo light here is a buffered one. You can see that the window is 233 milliseconds, the lag compensated window we had ourselves. The resulting light attack afterwards is 367 milliseconds, which means that the attack is too slow. If you combine these two values, the attack hits at the exact same time as the one we measured from our own point of view. This is the unintended speed. If you're unfamiliar with what I'm saying, there will be a link to a Reddit post in the description where you can look up exactly why I call this speed unintended. The next attack is the longest possible delay that I measured. As you might have guessed, it's not the 300 milliseconds that we saw when doing this ourselves. We're looking at 367 milliseconds, and the follow-up has the intended speed of 333 milliseconds. Now to make one point very clear, the window between attacks can vary greatly. The later you input the attack, the later the next attack comes out, as long as you stay within the window of your specific combo. Here we're looking at 433 milliseconds between the two lights, yet the combo light still comes out at the intended speed of 433 milliseconds. This tells us that you don't need frame perfect input to get the intended speed on your chained attacks. All it means is that the window between attacks gets larger. How much of a benefit this is, I'll leave that to each individual to judge for him or herself. The same goes for bashes, sweep in our case. They can be delayed the same. First, the buffered one. Everything's as expected, we have the lag compensated window of 233 and then a sweep of 567. Now the delayed one. We have a delay window of 400 this time, and like before, even though the window is yet a different number, the sweep comes out at the intended time of 533. Now let's look at one of the exceptions. Berserker's faint lights have quite a big window. Even when performing them from our own point of view, you get rather big windows. With that in mind, here's a buffered version from an opponent. And now the delayed version. The window can really be stretched here. Everyone expects an attack after Berserker feints. Despite the consensus that these 333 millisecond attacks are unreactable and need to be parried on prediction, you still have people trying to do it. So messing with your delays here can be a big advantage. If you've been watching my videos for a while, you know I did one about delaying your feints. So what happens now if you delay the attack that you're going to feint with delayed timing? I hope you're still with me here. This results in flickering the parry indicator sooner than it actually should. This means that the more you pay attention to inputting all your attacks and feints at the correct time and not queuing them up, the better results you will get overall. But let's wrap things up. First of all, a huge thanks to both Hyperion and Baxtyr for helping me out with the recording. I have linked both their streams down in the description, so do me a favour and check them out. I would not give them this shout out if I didn't enjoy their content myself. So trust me here, you won't regret it, especially if you're looking to improve on the characters you've seen in the video. Other than that, all of you should really start practicing delaying your moves. It makes such a massive difference and we don't know when or even if they're ever going to change this mechanic. On that note, I hope the video was helpful. Thanks for watching. Laters everybody.